Hello and welcome everyone, Andy Bryan here from the Soul Pathway, and today within this video I wanted to provide you with an important mental health support message. As we all know that 2020 was quite challenging for each and every one of us in different ways. The energies were intense and so many of us felt quite overwhelmed with the situations and experiences that we were facing within our lives. And 2021 has in many ways only amplified those energies more. So it can be quite challenging for each and every one of us to manage our mental health at this time. And so today within this video, I wanted to speak with you about how you can begin to look and explore your mental health so that you can create a space where you feel at peace and at one with yourself. And that starts with me moving on to the first important message. And for me, it goes back to the information that is shared with us on a daily basis. We only need to look at the news, social media, and even the bites of information that are shared from our friends on a consistent basis. We need to ask ourselves whether this information is important for us at this time. Because what tends to happen is we go through this period of sensory overload because we are quite highly sensitive people on our spiritual journey. And that sensory overload comes when we're, bombarded with information from the news and then from our friends and then from social media, and all of these things seem to bog us down. And these worries and concerns, starts, going around our mind. And so my message for you here is to learn to disconnect from social media at times, disconnect from mainstream media, and even disconnect from your friends and family when you feel you need to do so, because it's essential that you disconnect from all that is around you. So take away that busyness from your mind so that you can become present in yourself and not be too connected with the external world around you, but connect more importantly with the world that is within you. And it's all about finding that peace. So disconnection is the key to reconnecting with yourself. And that's the first message when it comes to mental health for me. I've found during these times that I've isolated myself from the world around me because I didn't want to be overwhelmed with not only going out too much and seeing this, dystopia, and feeling very much disconnected with the people that I meet on a day-to-day basis, and not being able to hug and get close to them and really share my love and support. We need to obviously do that in different ways, or those of which who are comfortable with you doing so. It's important that you do that. But when it comes to this message, learn to disconnect. And if there are people that are in an energy of fear and overwhelm themselves, learn to isolate yourself from them in these moments to disconnect. But you also can provide your love and support, because when you disconnect, you find that place of peace and tranquility within yourself, and you can reach out to them in moments when you feel in your place of power, because it's really important to create your place of power. Because when you disconnect, you find that peace, then you can connect with your power and your strength and step into that. But that for me is really important, because when it comes to mental health, with all these things going on around us, it's like adding more things to the pool. So we've got a bath, and we're adding more things to the bath that, when we put something in it, and the bath comes to overflow, and we find ourselves drowning in that. And that's not what we want to do. We want to keep our head above the water, so we don't feel this overwhelm, but we can create this peace for ourselves and for others in our lives. So that for me is really important here. And This brings me on perfectly to sacred space, and creating sacred space is essential. What is sacred space? Now, when I connect with my shamanic teachers and the people I've learned from, they've often said to me that everywhere is sacred to you if that's what you make it. And that is very, very true. I remember reading one of my favourite books, which is called The Wind Is My Mother by Bearheart. And their message was, nature is your church. So when you go out in nature, you can reconnect, you can find that peace, and you can learn to ground and connect with Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is always supporting us. But for those of you that aren't very spiritual, creating that sacred space is all about neutralizing the energy, so we can go into that space and we can reconnect with that peace within us at this time. Because I remember when I did my hypnotherapy training many years ago, and I absolutely loved hypnotherapy because it gets to the root cause of the issue and the challenges that you're facing, brings them to surface, and allows you to really heal. But it's about bringing the unconscious to our consciousness. But one of the things that I learned in hypnotherapy was about creating that safe haven for clients, so that when they feel that overwhelm, or they're going deep in their emotions and they're getting really connected to it, they can go into their safe haven. And their safe haven is this safe space that we create for them, so that when they get into that place of overwhelm, we can bring them back into this safe haven where they feel reconnected again once more. So within this part, I wanted to speak with you about sacred space. So sacred space is a space where you can, as I said, neutralize the energy. So if there is a lot of anxiety and overwhelm around you, people in your lives, and you're bombarded with all this information, you can go to this sacred space. And sacred space could be a room in your house, or it could be a table, which you've got my table behind me. I've got a nice salt lamp on there, and salt lamps are fantastic for your sacred space, because not only do they remove the negative ions, but they help to ground you as well. So they're a fantastic thing to add to your sacred space. And I've got a beautiful canvas photo there that my client actually made for me, and that's very special to me. So I put that in my little bit of a sacred space there, which is beautiful. Also behind me, I've got my shamanic blanket, which is something that I put over clients when I work with them one-to-one, because it creates that bubble. So that for me is that sacredness, that in that sacred space it has that, and it brings back that energy. But there are so many things that you can add to your sacred space, and as I said, it could be a small table where you've got things that provide meaning to you in your life, or you can make it a room, but you want to make it a space where you can meditate, you can relax, and you can let go, and in many ways so that you can release as well. Because with all these energies and emotions, we are going to have times where we have those up moments where we feel empowered, uplifted, and then at times where we can feel down, and at times we may feel a little bit of despair. We can go back to that sacred space, reconnect, let go, and allow ourselves to release. You can also add crystals to your sacred space, because crystals can help you to ground and reconnect. Maybe add a nice, portable Bluetooth speaker that you can put in there, so you can put on your relaxing music. And I've got some beautiful shamanic music that I listen to reconnect. But sacred space is very, very important for you at this time. And what I'd advise is a place where you don't go to all the time, but a time where you could, well, a space that you can go to when you feel this overwhelm or you want to relax and be at peace with nothing around you so much. That is really very much important. And you can use sage. Sage is fantastic for clearing the energy and clearing the space as well. So you can burn a bit of sage, and you can use your smudging to burn that sage around you, clear that energy, relax, ground, and be at peace. And you can also use Palo Santo. Palo Santo for me is much lighter, but it's a beautiful smell. But what I want you to do is think about the space at which you find yourself in, not just mentally, but the space at which you create for yourself. And as you do that, you allow yourself to dissolve those thoughts inside of your mind so that you can create peace and harmony and be at one with yourself. When you're in states of overwhelm and maybe even fear or doubt or concern, somewhat of concern, and you're overwhelmed with that, you aren't able to process the thoughts inside of your mind. So this isn't just to create peace and forget about what's going on in the world. It's in order to reconnect with yourself, neutralize the energy, and clear your thoughts so that you can show up as your best. So if you are facing challenging moments during this time, you can clearly think about how you can move forward in your life or deal with the things that are going on around you. But for me, this sacred space is key. Very, very important. So there is so much I've shared with you there. I hope I haven't provided you with too much information, but for me, it's allowing yourself to, first of all, disconnect from social media, disconnect from mainstream media and the news, disconnect even from your friends and family in certain moments, so that you can create that peace and harmony within yourself. If you've got people with a lot of anxiety, fear and doubt around you, that's going to affect your energy, and what we tend to do is absorb that in our auras. That's not something we want to do, but we do want to support them. So when we create this sacred space, we can create a little bubble where we can neutralize our energy, be at peace, and regain our power and strength, so that then we can know how to move forward in the right way, so that we're not drowning in the water, but we're standing above it. And then we can support those others that need the support in their lives. One thing I wanted to mention as well about overwhelm was a book that I also read called Choke, and it's on my bookshelf down here on my desk. And I remember the author, I can't remember exactly the author's name, but what she said was, when we're in this place of fear and overwhelm, and I often related this to public speaking because I had a huge fear of public speaking before, what tends to happen is we have this amygdala hijack. This is what she called it, where all of the blood flows to that part of our brain, and we can't concentrate. We don't have clear thought and clear mind. And that's when people go up to deliver talks and speeches in front of a large audience and they have that overwhelm. That's when they completely lose their track of thought, because they have that amygdala hijack. So that's something I also wanted to share with you. But this was an important message from me to you, to really think about your mental health at this time, so that you can create a space where you can be at peace and harmony with yourself in your life, whatever it is you're going through, and also so that you can create the peace and harmony for others. So I hope you found this video to be valuable and useful. I know it's a kind of a long video, but I really felt it was important for each and every one of us to think about this as we go through the shifts and changes and the motions of what is happening in the real world right now. And with that, I want to say thank you for listening. If you have found this content to be valuable and useful, please be sure to subscribe to our latest updates and videos. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Or you can also email me personally at andy@awakenyoursoulpathway.co.uk. And with that, I will say thank you for listening. Take care and much love. And make sure to stay in your power. Speak to you again soon. Bye for now.